what that was. That was a reverse camera angle going at you. All right, what's up, Bootstrappers? This is Ryan Nickel coming at you with another coaching tip. I think this is coaching tip number 12. So I was out driving my kids to school this morning, and I noticed that we are full on in fall. And one of the nicknames I think where fall comes from is because all these leaves decide to just fall off the trees. So I got back from visiting my family, and I noticed that all the trees all the leaves on our trees were completely gone. And so this morning when I was driving my kids to school, I noticed that there were a couple of houses that just, their leaves are still all over the place. Now I get it, some people they're out of town and whatnot, and they're driving back, getting home late last night, whatever, and they just don't have the time or the luxury to go ahead and clean up their leaves. Most people do because they've been around, but this is one of the tall tale signs that I look for when I'm driving for dollars. Now I'm going to show you a house that obviously someone is occupied. It's occupied, people live there, but when I'm driving for dollars, this is something that totally just tips me off. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this around right now. All right. Got my kids' fingerprints on here. You're gonna love this video. All right, so I wanted to clear that up for you. So check this out. Look at these leaves. How they've all just fallen off the tree here. Now, what I'm focusing on is not so much the leaves, but look at this car. You will find as you're driving for dollars that there are cars that are just loaded with leaves that have not been moved. That is a huge sign that house is abandoned or vacant. So I would take the time to go out and drive around, look at these properties, and just keep an eye out for these homes that have these leaves that are just not being taken care of, because that is going to be something that you want to focus on as you come back the next week, because I guarantee it, you'll find a home or two that the leaves wouldn't have been raked up or cleaned up. It's not being done. And those are the houses that I call on, that I knock on, I talk to the neighbors, I try to figure out what's going on, what's the situation, why is this the way that it is. Every once in a while, you'll get a good neighbor that wants to go out there and kind of just clean up the neighborhood, because one, they don't want to draw attention to the neighborhood, and two, they don't want to be, if they're a neighbor, they don't want to be suspect to vandalism if someone is eyeballing that property. It's not too often that you'll see, or it's actually very common that you'll see a house that someone will notify and go, oh, this is a vacant house. And you'll have neighbors that'll call the cops. When we were up in Idaho, I had a guy that was showing me around, and he said that he was looking at a house a couple of weeks ago, and the neighbor called the cops on him because they didn't know who he was and what he was doing at that property. So, but anyway, I digress. When you're out looking at properties, driving for dollars, look for fallen leaves. Look for the unkept yards, the ones that have cars that have been parked there and the leaves are still on that car. And well after the storm has passed, they're still sitting there and the leaves haven't been blown off that car. That is a good indication that that something's going on in that house. Maybe that car is just a junker car and it's not working. But if it's the only car that's there and it's not being taken care of, you can guarantee that that's an opportunity for you. So anyway, when you're looking for properties, look for the leaves, look for the yards that aren't cleaned up when all the other ones are, and you'll strike gold. All right, I'm Ryan Nickel. I'm driving to a property right now that I'm going to go get under contract, and I'll talk to y'all later.